It's 10 o'clock, so let's get started. We want to be very cognizant of your time here. Thankful to have all the ADAs in a room here at headquarters while they're meeting and getting some plans together over there. They're going to take time out of that schedule to join us on this. We have a decent little lineup for you. As we've talked about before, though, on these things, the longer we do them, it seems like the list gets less and less every time we try to put one of these together. So if you guys are not providing topics, then these are going to get shorter and shorter. But
that means they're working.
That's right. That means they're working. That's what we actually want to happen. So anyway, we do have a few things to talk to you about this morning. Hopefully we can get through this in a timely manner and get you about your business. With that, I think we're going to turn it over to Brian first.
Okay. Oh, all right. I'm introducing myself. As some of you know, I'm been named the chief engineer. I will be leaving the construction section effective yesterday. So I will continue to join and be a part of this, of course, but we'll be handing that to whoever becomes the next chief construction engineer. Paul Vaught has been named the assistant secretary of project delivery, and Eric Dauphiné is now the chief operating officer. So we have a new org chart, which was shown to about 78 of the staff yesterday, and it's going to be disseminated later this week, where we now have the secretary as CEO. We have a chief administrative officer, Bo Black, a chief operating officer now, Eric Dauphiné, and then under Eric, we're going to have the Office of Engineering and the Office of Operations. Paul Vaught will be over the project delivery, and of course, Todd Donmeyer over operations, and then the positions will fall below that. So we'll be rolling that out in the near future in the next couple of days. Of course, we'll be fielding questions throughout the week, but the final org chart has not been released to everyone yet. So as soon as we have that, we'll be releasing that later in the week. Delegations under review. The RFCO and change order signing authority is being revised to reflect this new structure, and we're updating that policy. As far as the chief engineer had delegated their responsibility for signing the category 1 change orders down to the chief construction engineer, but he was retaining the RFCO approval. We're probably going to leave it like that in the interim for the transition. I will just be taking the chief engineer approval level, and we'll be moving that down as such. Meeting for the full organization, like I said, will be scheduled later, and we'll be rolling out at the end of the week.
Brian, congratulations to you and everyone who else got a new position. Looking forward to the transition into the new org chart there. Sorry, going too fast. All right, so next up I actually came across something this week I wanted to share. Thought this would be a good forum for it. So there was a standard plans bulletin that went out, an engineering and construction bulletin. And this is going to be, more for our consultants and contractors on the call. DOTD has posted all of the standard plans to the outward-facing website. And you can see I have a path here that just kind of shows you how to get there, and even a little video briefly showing you how to get to those. Be much more convenient than trying to log in and get to our intranet. You can just go to the main website and see those. Obviously, when we send the PowerPoint out, this will all be included. It won't have the video included, but it does have the path there on how you can get to those. Of course, a lot of these don't get shared out when we send plans out anymore, so it's great to be able to get to them easily. And that's all I have on that little thing. Next up, we have Mr. Matt Jones.
Good morning, everybody. So obviously we've been talking about H numbers for a little bit. There's still some questions as to whether or not, who needs to get one. My C number still works. I'm still able to access HeadLight or something like that. Yes, everybody that's external to the department needs to get an H number. So if your C number is still working, great, that's wonderful. But at some point, those will be shut off. So we need y'all to start moving forward with getting those H numbers requested. So on our website, in the standard, for any new users, anybody that was being transferred over previously that already had contract access. That kind of process where they were manually pulling that over is no longer available. So you will need to fill out the new user registration, which is on our website for site manager access, for project wise, for whatever the software solution is that you need. Do start getting those H number requests done. If you have a C number designation, at the bottom of that registration page, there's a place for comments. Make sure you put that in there as part of the process. Once that H number is established and they create that domain with that H number, we then clone over your contract authority from site manager or, again, whatever project. And so if we have that C number, that makes it that much easier to clone that information over, where we're not having to manually go back and reestablish all contract authority. Another thing with that, the training and access to that, the day that you submit that registration, you will get, or that email goes out to your designated contact, which has always been part of the process. Once the designated contact approves that, you should be getting an email from OTS that says your H number or your access to success factors is this, but you have to wait a day before you can then access that for the training. So make sure you're not trying to immediately go in and take that training. Once you've taken that training, that's usually where it kind of stalls because the system doesn't automatically notify. So if you would email the OTS support, make that phone call, make sure they're aware of it so that that domain account can then be created because the domain account has to be created before we can create the site manager account. Site manager account has to be created before we can create the HeadLight account. So there are steps in the process. The HeadLight account piggybacks off the site manager account, so on and so forth. So please make sure if you still have folks that are out there that have not gotten their H numbers, have not gotten access, one, always check when you fill out that information that you've selected your company. It should provide you with who that designated contact is. If you see the name on there is incorrect, please contact our e-construction group so we can get the designated contact person corrected, because a lot of times it does get stuck at step one because we don't know, whether or not that person actually works for that company. So we need somebody within the company to approve that. And that's it.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, we have a tool here in the e-construction group where we can check on your status. And so if it is stuck at the designated contact, we can usually help with that. So yeah, if it gets stuck, please contact us. Moving into our technical guidance and field procedures section, we're actually going to go right back to Matt Jones.
Lucky me. All right. So for contractors and consultants, this is kind of a peek behind the curtain. For project engineers, y'all are aware of this process, but with contract time that the department sets, that's utilized with a spreadsheet with production rates based on the items associated in the contract. It is the responsibility of that project manager to kind of initially fill that out, send it to the project engineers for review. Project engineers, please take a look at it. Again, not all items are included on that worksheet. So if you see something in the contract or in your plans that might take a little while, if there's particular phasing that's going to be going on, that spreadsheet obviously doesn't take that into account. So you need to use your engineering judgment, your experience to know whether or not, those times are accurate or not, and make a recommendation back, whether you agree with it, there needs to be more time, there needs to be less time, whatever it may be. But again, please take into account phasing, lags, curing, all those sort of things that might not be taken into account so that we can get those dates as accurate as possible. We are working to update those worksheets and make it more accurate, as well as we'll probably be doing more A+B bidding. So the contractors, you'll be bidding on what the time is as well. And then also make sure everybody's checking Falcon. We have gotten feedback from on several projects that the time that's been allotted in the contract may be too short. If we're getting that from multiple contractors, we obviously take a look at that and have modified contract times, put out addendums. So be aware of the information that's coming in. Don't just disregard it. Let's not put down, just bid in accordance with the plans and specs. If it's legitimate, make sure that, we're taking a look at those times. If there is a reason why it has to be set to that time frame, just understand shorter durations generally mean more cost because contractors have to put more crews, more resources towards that, and so it'll increase costs. So there's that balancing act. If we need to get something done before, say, school gets back in, just be aware of that. And again, when the letting is, be aware of that for construction timeframes, because again, if we're getting close to the winter and we've got things like OGFC or structural concrete that we know we won't be able to pour, that might take a little more time, add some more time to the project.
As we update these, we are going to be sending these out and reaching out to the new ADAs of construction for the production rates and kind of, letting you guys test the waters and check those out, as well as some of our industry partners. So these haven't been updated in quite some time. We are working with our SmartPM group and some of the other initiatives to make this more of an automated process and actually using Primavera to calculate these. So a lot of updates coming on that.
Thanks. And with Brian mentioning Smart PM there, that's a good segue into our next section. Dallas Balmer is going to give us a little rundown on Smart PM and maybe even a demo.
Yep, so let me try to share my screen. All right, can y'all see that?
Yes.
I think I might have seen somebody nod their head. All right.
Yes, we can see you.
All right, so this is SmartPM. You start out on a dashboard with whatever projects you have access to. It kind of gives you a high-level overview of the status of the project health based on best practices across the nation and DOTD specs, and other pertinent information about your project. So probably at the ADA of construction level, you would have a handful of projects that you would see. Project engineers may only see one project on this screen. And when you click on it, it brings you to more detailed information. It has several windows in here with different types of information. You can set key milestones on the project and see the status of those milestones as you progress the project. You have a earnings curve or a completion curve here showing early start, late start, and actual. So actual would be somewhere in between early and late. And this updates as the schedules get updated. You have several critical indexes. Don't know what the right word is, but I think it's indices. They said indexes. All right, so yeah, you got several things you can look at. One of the things I like looking at is over here, schedule quality grade. So this gives you a breakdown of the grade and why that grade exists. It has different components to that grade. Finish to start relationships are not preferred, so it gets points knocked off. We got several different types of criteria that we look at. Yellow means warning, red means critical issue, green means okay, white means informational. And if you click on this, it'll pull up the activities that meet this criteria that's an issue. So you can look at that and kind of get an idea of what activities you need to be focusing on, what things you need to be correcting to get that grade up. Didn't mean to click out of it. So this is all online. Right now we have a few pilot projects using it, and we do plan on expanding the use of A+B, CPM, and even expanding the use of SmartPM to, I guess we could call them Tier 1, which is CPM projects, Tier 2, which is higher level calendar day projects that require more complex scheduling, and then a Tier 3, which is the traditional bar chart method, just smaller projects where this information can be input so we can track it, but the detail is not needed in the same way as CPM projects. We'll be able to pull out production rates and stuff to populate that spreadsheet that the department uses and come up with better contract times. All right, so let me see if I can. It gives you an explanation of each if you want to look at it. So it'll give you like a textbook definition. That one didn't work. Let's see if this one works or if it's messed up. Uh-oh. Gotta talk with them about that. But I think this kind of helps people who aren't as familiar with CPM stuff, rather than looking at an NP6 where you get this list of activities with very little explanation. It provides more detail related to why a contract is good or bad from a technical aspect. There's still a need for review from a field level to make sure that everything makes sense, but this is meant to be a technical tool to help field engineers understand what schedules are telling them and better communicate schedules.
And Dallas, just to be clear, this is all populated and created through the SmartPM group. You know, the project engineers are not going to be required to populate or build this. This is all just at your disposal to evaluate the schedule.
Yep, that's right. So the in-depth use of this isn't something that we're going to expect the field engineers to do. We still plan on having consultants help explain some of this stuff, but the idea is to give the field engineers more tools that they can understand and stand behind on not only CPM projects, but all projects, and also give you a way to check on the status at a high level. This is something I like. You're able to see the calendar with blockouts. That's not something that exists anywhere else. All right, let me stop sharing and see what that slide showed. But I think we plan on using this more, and we'll be reaching out. I think we got another project in 62 that we're going to do some training on, and we'll probably develop training for statewide eventually, not only on use of SmartPM, but just general scheduling training. Let me stop that. All right.
Right. Can y'all see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. All right, moving on to project coordination and documentation. I believe first up we have Brian.
All right. Give me a second to see what I'm talking about. Yeah, so we've been, I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing consistency and efficiency and all that stuff, but these are some of the things that keep coming up. Things, set the cadence of your meetings. Set your meeting frequency to your project size and the complexity. Obviously, smaller jobs, you can meet monthly, but the more complex jobs, you're going to need to meet more often. We need to make sure that we are keeping a written agenda and meeting minutes for every one of these meetings, as well as RFI, RFCO logs, submittal logs, and most importantly on each project, a ball in court status log showing that whether it's change orders, estimates, whatever you're tracking on that project, the RFIs, the submittals, you need to keep an ongoing list. You need to have that you review in each of your weekly meetings or your monthly meetings. Whose court is the ball in? Who is it waiting on? What are they waiting for? And that's how we drive progress on these things. That's how things don't fall through the cracks. And that's how we keep them up to date. Gives everybody, we're all working from the same document. There's one source of truth. You don't have to go dig through your emails to try to find, what did we say about that? What were we working? Everybody has that document. Minutes create a clear record of what was communicated and to whom, helps resolve disputes later. So in the event that we do have a dispute down the road, we know exactly what happened and when. This goes for the PE consultants as well as our DOTD staff. Guys, especially now with the new creation of the ADAs of construction, we're going to be holding our CE&I consultants and the ones that are acting as project engineers on our behalf to these same standards. We're asking you guys step up to the plate and you become part of this. That's your responsibility as a CE&I project engineer, is to act on our behalf and to act in kind. And we're going to be holding everyone accountable. So this is just a little reminder of some of the things that we use on projects.
Thanks, Brian. Next up, it comes right back over to me for just a quick update on this. Brian and Matt, I believe, attended AGC conference. Was it last week, guys? I think. And this comes up, and it seems to be coming up more often. The contractors only have a read-only access to HeadLight for DWRs and that kind of stuff. And so with that read-only access, which HeadLight calls portal, they're only able to see approved documents or daily work reports. So they're not able to see, of course, what they're looking for is work items, right? And so to track that along with what you're putting in and along with what their records show, they need to be able to see that. And what we continue to see happen is there are some PE offices that maybe wait to the end of the week to approve all of the DWRs, but we still have some out there that I see that are still waiting till right before the estimate, and they go authorize all of the daily work reports at one time. And then, what happens when you do that is the contractor hasn't been able to see it all month, and you end up with a conflict right there at estimate time. Where if we were keeping up with these daily or at least every few days, especially the projects that sync over to Site Manager still, if you have one of the older style projects, those can take a few days to get everything in. We always recommended about 3 days to get them approved in Site Manager there. But for those of you who have headlight only projects, that's really not an issue anymore. And we would ask that you go ahead and get those approved as reviewed and approved as quickly as you can. If you have something where you need to go back and add something, it's much easier without the sync to just go unlock that report, add it, and then, reauthorize it. And so just want to get another reminder out there, try to get those daily work reports approved as quickly as possible. Next, we have LPA, who I believe is Brian again.
Right. So we've been talking about the LPA projects throughout the T4LA initiative and pulling those numbers out of our numbers and why that matters and what are the what are the issues associated with LPAs, and where they're paid differently than our projects, they're tracked, they're handled differently. We don't have contracts with those individuals. So what the department has decided is we're going to create an LPA section. The manual for LPAs have been completed and updated. I think, the public comment period has closed. So this new LPA section positions are targeted for later in the fall, September, October. Once staffed, the section will take over the day-to-day activities of the LPA construction coordination, which are currently handled by our project engineers. So we are going to be pulling that responsibility away from our PEs, giving it to this new section, and they're going to be handling that, which is, I think a huge win for our districts and for our project engineers. And actually, whenever they measure DOTD and they measure what we're doing, that they have an accurate understanding of what our projects are and what these are, and they don't mix the two, because a lot of times we get held responsible for these things not performing. So that was a big push of the T4LA, and I'm really excited to share this with everybody. And I'll be helping to make sure that this initiative, finds its legs and takes off till we can move that burden away from the districts.
Thanks, Brian. I know everybody's looking forward to that one. So moving into our interactive session where we usually have some kind of a poll question. It was brought to my attention that there was not really an answer given last month. I was absent last month, so the correct answer there is, let's just read it. A contractor is working 120 calendar day overlay project. The approved progress schedule shows a Monday through Friday operation only. The contractor never planned to work weekends. A storm system moves through the parish and heavy rain falls Friday through Sunday. No work is performed on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. What day or days should be documented as adverse? And the correct answer to that was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm not sure. It sounded like we were mostly on the same page last month, but there were some split answers there. So that's what we came up with as the correct answer. If you don't like that answer, I guess send it to Matt. I don't know. Sorry, Matt. So for this month, we did invite the ADAs of construction to our webinar prep meeting, and we went over a lot of things, and none of us were able to come up with a poll question. And then I believe it was maybe yesterday or day before yesterday, Brett Morgan, our statewide traffic guy, was here, and he was out there talking to Dallas, who's our work zone engineer. I was like, traffic control comes up a lot. Let's just do a poll on that. So I talked to them and got them to help me out with it. And so we have a couple of questions with traffic control. So I feel like these might be good and would be helpful. So let me figure out how to share these right quick. Where's my poll button? There we go. Launch the July poll. Are you able to see that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Let's see. So Question number 1, an LADOTD inspector PE arrives on site and finds an active lane closure in place, but the required flagger is sitting in their personal vehicle next to the flagger station. What is the immediate correct course of action?
You're not going to read the answers?
Oh, yeah, I guess I could, huh? Turn around and go get a biscuit and return to see the contractor corrected it themselves. No, we assume that anybody who answers that's going to be a contractor. Notify the flagger and the TCS and document in the daily work report. Start flagging until the TCS shows up. Shut the project down. And while you guys are answering that, we see some answers flowing. But number 2, related to the question above, LADOTD has encountered multiple flagger or traffic control deficiencies this week. Despite verbal warnings and being documented in daily diary entries, what is the next contractual and procedural step the LADOTD team should take? Notify the TCS and contractor PM. Apply the $150 per day deduction for deficient traffic control log. Document in the daily work report. Escalate to ADA of construction. Shut project down and require safety meeting addressing deficiency. Consider the use of an automated flagger, or all of the above in a progressive manner. We'll just give you a few seconds to answer. Looks like we have about a third of people answering those. You're at about 60%. And once we get to about 75%, we'll end the poll. All right, so let's end the poll, and I will share the results. So question 1, we pretty much have a consensus there, 95%. That might be the best that we've gotten so far. Notify the flagger and TCS and document in a daily work report. That is the correct answer. And so good job. I like that. And then when we move to the second one, we do have a couple of, mostly consensus there on all of the above, which is the correct answer. But we do have a couple people that say shut down the project and require a safety meeting, or notify the TCS and contractor PM and apply that $150 a day deduction. The correct answer is all of the above in a progressive manner. So you're going to start I would say this is a safety thing, so it's going to depend on time, right? So if you are consistently having problems, you're going to move through this list faster. But of course, the answer is all of the above there. All right. Stop sharing. And we will move on to our question, the Q&A session.
So while we're waiting on questions, I will reiterate, all the ADAs of construction are here today listening in. In the future, you guys are going, would be expected to take this information and then have meetings with your project engineers in your district and kind of disseminate this, take questions back from that group and kind of, bring that information down and then back up through the process. And then it'll come out on the next webinar, right? And to do that, we need participation at all levels. And I see Caitlin put a note in the chat. If contractors have poll questions or ideas for future webinars, feel free to share that with us. I don't think we've received anything. Have we, Les?
Yeah, I think there was one submittal from last month. When we send out the recap email, I always try to include the document link to send in suggestions. It might not specifically say poll questions, but of course we'll take poll questions there. I think we received one thing last month, and that was what Matt went over about the contract time. So yeah, we don't get a whole bunch of those.
Yeah, so this thing just keeps getting shorter and shorter. But I'll always say this, we want it to be relevant. We want it to be useful. So we're not just asking for content just for the sake of content. We're trying to drill down and find issues that need resolution, something that we can teach the entire group, we can learn together. And I promise you, if you're having a problem with it, somebody else is too. Les says this all the time, whether it's submitting tickets for e-construction or an OTS issue. If you're having the problem, submit the ticket, because somebody else is certainly having the same problem. And those things tend to just linger on and not get fixed whenever we don't bring them to a head. So this is the venue where we bring, everything rises to the top and we work it out. So participation, participation, participation. Any questions?
I do see one here from Mark Stinson. He actually sent me an email earlier about the status of HeadLight materials. All right. And we are very aware that everybody's having problems there. We have given some direction on what to do in the meantime. I will say we had a meeting with HeadLight late last week and this week, and we are making some progress there, but it is still not functional, especially the way we want it to be functional. So, like we have said before, you just have to keep doing whatever process you have in the district to document, as good as you can. We still recommend, we're not just recommend, we do not shut the projects down. Like, don't stop anything for some kind of sampling issue where you can't find the right material code. Make sure that we are getting samples done and moving the project along, document the best you can in HeadLight, even if that includes uploading a paper sample ID with some test results as a file observations. Whatever you have to do to get that in there, we will work with you on the 2059 to get those things approved and signed off on. We have HeadLight definitely has acknowledged what is going on and that it is slow moving to get everything set up. They have a plan to send a team down here in a couple of weeks to actually sit with people. And the team that they're sending are people who can actually fix stuff on the spot. And so we are looking forward to that. We believe that's what is going to be required for this thing to really get off the ground and get moving in the right direction. So this is an update. It's not a good update, but it is an update. We are moving forward, although right now it is slow.
There's a question about the second wave of the district reorg. Chad, Brobeek, you guys on the third floor, can y'all can you give us an update on that? I know it had been submitted to civil service, but I'm not sure where it is right now. We might have lost.
That's been submitted to civil service. We're waiting to get some feedback from them and to see where we need to go to make that happen. The project engineers have been approved, but we're waiting on the next 3 positions in the district to get approved. Once we get that feedback from them, we'll make the adjustments that they require and move forward with it. The next question you're going to ask is give me a timeline, and I can't. Every time I give a timeline when it comes to construction reorg and dealing with civil service and HR, it's wrong. So I cannot give you a timeline at this time.
Yeah, I mean, basically, we've hit that next milestone where the SF3s have been written. They've gone through and been vetted by our HR, and it's been submitted to civil service. So we've done what we can. They'll come back obviously with maybe a few tweaks, but holistically, we're on track. We're right there. Once we get that final approval, these positions will just we'll go through the process just like we did with the ADAs and get these things turned on and moved up and reallocated. So it's very positive from my perspective. We are making progress for you guys.
Hey, Brian, it looks like I have a couple more follow-ups here for HeadLight. I'm going to start with Ryan's first with the sample plan. So, Ryan, when I speak of HeadLight materials, I'm including sample plan in that as well. We understand that the sample plans are not working in the way we are used to them working, and that is part of it's the same issue really. It's the data that HeadLight has ingested for the 2026 materials that has messed up both sample plan and the materials app. And just kind of letting the cat out of the bag here a little bit, just give you a taste of what's coming is we will, for 2026 spec projects, we will be moving away from the materials app, and the PE offices will be doing all of their work in Fieldbook. And we're making good progress on what you're going to have to do there. Of course, as soon as we get this thing lined out to where it's at least functioning for the, 15 or 20 main sample types, we will begin rolling out training for all that. HeadLight is aware that that sample plan is generating lots of things that do not necessarily have to be there. And also part of this is we also changed the structure of material codes with the 2026 spec, so it's not even the same structure you guys are used to. That's causing some issues with sample plans as well, like you're not able to find the things you were looking for. In fact, I looked this morning and saw, I was looking at a project for somebody else, and even some of the main stuff you would use for your certs are not even there. So we're working through that. That is part of that team coming down here to kind of get that, get all the materials data organized to where it'll actually work. Second part of that, somebody asked on here, and from District 5, and I'm actually glad you did that. Looks like Dallas answered about coordinate with us on a case by case basis. Just yesterday, I went through one part of the final that we were looking at, how we were going to handle. I think I've talked to audit, and we have a path forward for the interim until HeadLight gets. They're supposed to be creating a form that helps us with finals. But until that part is created, we've got a path forward on that. There's one more thing that we have to do, and that is HeadLight does not have that final estimate button that kind of locks everything down. I have some ideas on what we can do with that. Ran those by audit. It sounds like they'll work. I have not had a chance to meet with HeadLight about that. We have a meeting set up with them this afternoon where I was going to bring that up. Once we get that locked down, I believe right now there's only a handful of projects that need to be turned in that I'm aware of. I know Kevin Adams has one, Dane Lecoq has one, and I believe Clinton Dyke has one as well. And so if you have projects that need to be turned in, I guess I can ask this while we're on here. If you have one that needs to be turned in, a HeadLight only project, feel free to email me about it. I'm going to start putting together something to guide you through that. And the e-construction team is even going to help you do some of these parts until we get this other stuff sorted out. So thanks for those questions. This is stuff that everybody needs to know.
What about rounding issues? You know anything about that list?
I do know one thing about it. That, like, I've heard that a couple times. Some of our PEs have been questioning that as well. HeadLight says that the data in the background is correct and that the totals are showing correctly in the background, but displaying rounding errors. That's about all I know. They are working on a fix for that so that you see the thing that you're supposed to see. But that's the only update I have on it. They are aware. They say that the background data for the rounding is good, but they are making adjustments on the user interface.
There is a location in HeadLight that shows the actual quantities. It's a line item report under projects in the contract administration module. But I think this is still under development, providing a better reporting system across the board.
I see a couple more things about HeadLight here. What if the sample plan is not loaded for a project? Who adds it? HeadLight said it was headquarters. There is a document that Headlight provided us where there's a workflow. If some of you have submitted a project import request form lately, you've likely seen an email back from me where I check the status of that project in AWP, which is our pre-construction software. It has to be in a certain phase for Headlight to pull that project. So I am in the middle of that, and then it goes through a couple of more steps. I still thought that Headlight was adding the automated sample plan, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll have to go check the document. If it's supposed to be us, we definitely will start doing it, but I don't think that we have been given the tools to do that yet, but I'll have to double check. No, Mike, I see your question here as well about notifications for Headlight estimate being approved, change orders being approved. The email notifications that go out right now seem to be all over the place. Headlight has not provided the e-construction team with the tools to adjust those notifications. That is part of the meeting we have with them this afternoon. They are about to start training our team and turning over some of those functions to us to manage. Once we have them, we will definitely be working with you to get the email notifications set up correctly. So just know that's coming.
I'd like to remind everyone the project viewer, we need to be updating those every month after the estimate. Is there anyone out there that is not doing that or hasn't done it or has any questions or having issues with the form? Are the districts still doing it for the CE&Is less, or are they doing it now? Who do we have a CE&I on here who'd like to speak up? Are y'all filling out the form or is the district doing it? Or districts can speak up.
Hey, Brian, this is 05. What form are you talking about?
For the project viewer, this is the project progress form in Headlight that has to be filled out every month.
I've got my consultants doing it in Headlight.
Okay.
I don't know how everybody else is, but mine and Area A are doing that.
Brian,
And they got no issue with it.
All right. Wayne, you had a comment?
I was saying we're doing it also.
Okay.
That's something I tend to forget though.
Same here, Brian. We're doing them monthly as well at T. Baker Smith.
Great. Well, that's just one of those KPI metrics that we're going to be looking at, the new ADAs. So, help those guys out. For the PEs out there and especially, our CE&Is, we're going to be looking at handling times on change orders, estimates. We're going to be breaking that out and tracking it every month. That's part of Section 40's KPIs, and it's going to be, responsibility now of the ADAs of construction. So get out in front of it. If there's some reason that you're not getting those estimates processed in a timely manner, or there's one of the steps that's causing a problem or hanging up, run it up the chain, get it to your ADA, and get it to us. Because, that help the ADAs by helping us figure out where those bottlenecks are. Again, it's we're not just pushing for the sake of pushing. We're not just asking for these things randomly. This has been part of this overall T4LA initiative over the last 2 years. We've been doing everything we can to, show the legislators that we're doing what we say we're going to do when we do it, according to the law, according to our CFRs, and that, they've given us additional funding through this LTIF program, and we've met it. We've hit the mark. We use all that funding. As they continue to test us, we're going to be given more opportunities to do the same. We're going to be building our overall construction budget. They're looking to double from 1.4 billion, up to $3 billion in construction projects over the next few years. And the way we do that is what we're doing right here. And why we're having these meetings is that we bring everybody along and we do what we say we're going to do. And that's how we build trust. that's how we build that relationship with whether that's industry, the public, the politicians, the legislators, the people that are in your districts. Because we're going to be asking for, in the near future, in the next year and a half, we're going to be asking for the recurring funding. And whatever that mechanism is, I'm sure some of you know how that's going to happen. But we have to build trust, and we have to be, I'm going to continue to try and just hound on it as, consistency and efficiency, that wherever you go, it's just like McDonald's. If you get a quarter pounder with cheese in Baton Rouge, it's going to taste exactly the same in Shreveport. It's going to taste exactly the same in New York. We have to make our quarter pounders with cheese, guys. That's a ridiculous example, but it's not just pushing for the sake of pushing. We have an end goal in mind. We have a reason. That's why we're doing this. And it's going to take everybody that's on this call. There's 146 people on this call, and there's more people in the rooms, and there's probably people that aren't participating today. Get those individuals on these calls. Get your project engineers on the calls. Contractors, get your staff. Get them to, if they don't have time right now while it's happening, let them listen to it on YouTube. It's earmarked, so they don't have to listen to the whole thing. Give them the relevant parts. Anyway, that's my spiel. I appreciate everything everybody's doing, and we're going to continue to push. We've got 9 minutes left. Any more questions?
I see one question here from Nicole Dunn. Should we be CCing ADAs on HeadLight support emails that are hanging up a change order or estimate? I think it's probably more important that you CC the e-construction group, but it's not a bad idea to CC the ADAs of construction as well, just so they're aware. Obviously, they're responsible for the change orders and estimates getting done in timely manner. So, but please, when you send in a support case, and I know if you fill out the issue reporting form, there's no way to CC somebody on that. But as soon as you fill that out, you should get an automated email back stating what you submitted. And then usually it's best to forward that over to the people you want to CC.
All right, guys. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.